Hello everyone. Thanks very much for coming along to my presentation. My name is Phil Wadick and I'm from the Mid-North Coast area, different part of the Mid-North Coast to yourself. I've decided to do a research project over the last year on the patient experience, and most of the data was collected in regional areas, so I'm focusing on the regional areas. So, give you a bit of background into me for those of you who want good quality research. I come from a humanities background. I don't come from science or medical. I did my PhD in education, learning and development, so I bring that bias to my research. It's mainly qualitative research. I also was diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago, and I have metastatic bowel cancer. So I have, let's say it's fairly subjective, some of the stuff I'm interested in, and I am invested in some of the outcomes, put it that way. And the aim of this project, I just wanted to look at if there were any links between patient-centered care, quality of life, and a proactive approach to one's healing. After I got diagnosed and immersed in the world of cancer, I heard a lot of stories from many people, some good stories, some not so great, and I thought, why don't we pick this apart a little bit? And it was just really a pilot study. I'm a, what would you call it, an independent researcher. I'm not doing this affiliated with any university, but because I have a PhD and I have an academic and research background, I thought I'd use my previous skills in my new current role as a person with cancer. So what do I mean by patient-centered care? And I've developed this definition over the last couple of years, I suppose. It's care that's provided by health professionals that encourages the empowerment of the patient to entrepreneur and collaborate in their own healing journey. We've heard a bit about that before today. I feel personally a need to feel empowered in my helping navigate my healing journey. And so I think that good patient-centered care encourages that in people. So I did have a reasonably rigorous methodology, albeit qualitative. I collected all sorts of data from different avenues, and the goal is to, well, one word is called triangulate, but to see if the different forms of data support each other, and to see if in the end the story I come up with is fairly authentic. So to even get it to a point of presenting today, I've run my results by various people with cancer, cancer support groups, and so far I've had some feedback and I've fine-tuned things, but in general, the feedback I'm getting from other people with cancer is that this is authentic kind of information. I decided to do qualitative, one, because that's what I'm trained and experienced in, but two, because I think it really helps capture what it's like for people with cancer. We've heard this morning already how difficult it is to develop measurable scales for feelings and emotions. So I didn't really bother to try and develop measurable scales. I used people's stories and their experiences. Now, I'm going to do some results, and there are different ways to present results. In quantitative, it's a lot about statistics and graphs, tables. We've seen a lot of that. That's all terrific. And qualitative is more about stories, about capturing the feelings of people. And one way to present these stories is through role play or drama. And so today we're going, Marilyn, this is my wife Marilyn, and she's going to help do this little role play now that just presents two aspects of a patient-doctor interaction, and we're going to see if either one of those encourage or discourage anxiety and depression in the patient. Okay, now a little bit more. So the dialogue of this role play is developed from the storylines I've heard. I haven't made them up. I've put together a montage of the data and turned it into a story with a start and a finish. You can have a look at that. All right, so setting it up. This is just setting the scene. We have two acts. Act 1, they're both in the oncology, chemotherapy or medical oncology waiting room and the doctor's room, okay? So Marilyn is the doctor, as you can see, and I'm the patient, so I don't normally wear my suit coat. I usually wear something a bit more colourful when I'm the patient. And we're starting off, I'm in the waiting room. Glasses. I wrote this in size 16 font so I could read it, but still got to have my glasses. Okay.
Mr. Wadick?
Good morning, Doctor. How are you today? Beautiful morning, isn't it?
These scans don't look too good.
What do you mean?
Well, the metastases in the lungs means that you're terminal.
Would you mind explaining that a bit more for me, please?
Well, basically it means that you probably have between 6 months and 2 years to live.
What's my chance of reaching a 5-year survival mark?
None.
Gee, is there anything I can do that might help extend this?
Look, not really. If I were you, I'd get your affairs in order as soon as possible.
Thank you. Should I make another appointment?
Yeah, maybe in a month or so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's Act 1. Now we have Act 2, and this is called Might This Help?
Who Wadick?
Oh, that's me.
Okay, come
Oh,
on.
right.
Take a seat.
Thank you.
So, how are you today, Phil?
Oh, not too bad, thanks. Gee, it's a lovely day outside.
Yeah, well, I don't really get much chance to see that, but look, have a look at this with me. Let's have a look at your scan together.
Oh, thank you.
So, can you see here? This is showing where the tumours are growing in your lungs.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Doesn't look real good, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't look too good, Phil. In fact, from a statistical point of view, most people with these kind of metastases don't live longer than a few years.
You mean I maybe only have up to a few years left?
Well, statistically, yes. But there's a lot we don't know about cancer, and some people, although not many, survive against these odds, and we're not really sure why.
So, is there anything I can do to help?
Well, there could be. Look, do some research for yourself. For instance, in Western Australia, they've shown recently that targeted exercise can increase survival in people with bowel cancer by up to 30%. Your immune system is your best friend now, so do some things that improve the way it works. For example, pay attention to your diet, keep stress to a minimum, enjoy your life as much as you can.
Thanks, Doctor. I'll look into that and see how I go.
Okay, Phil. Well, it was good to meet you. And look, come back in a month or so and let me know how you're going with that.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and beat this thing. Wish me luck, will you?
I do.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, that's the end of Act 2. So I'll leave it up to you, thank you, leave it up to you to work out which one makes me walk out of here feeling anxious and depressed and no zest for life and not very much interest in trying to get better. Or which one helps me come out of there proactive in my own health and healing and at least have a better life. And is that important, even if I don't live longer? Well, I wonder. All right, so this is a couple of other cartoons I've got, once again based on data that I've received over probably a year of collecting data. And we have another one. I don't know if you can you read that from back there? Again, you can see that the interaction between the person with cancer and the pointy end of the health system, the person there, makes a world of difference. I know that from experience. Many people have told me that from their experiences. Now, so what are the results? Well, in brief, the interactions that a person with cancer does have with people in the health system does influence their levels of stress and anxiety and depression and supports the research on patient-centered care. People who feel understood, cared about, and collaborate in their own healing journey have a better quality of life at the very least. And this puts less strain. If you do research in patient-centered care, it ends up putting less financial strain. So it's an investment. People say we don't have enough time to do all this. That's true. I know that the whole profession of oncology is stretched for time, but in the end, this investment will provide more time in future. So what sort of recommendations could I come up with? There's a few, and some of them have already been talked about today. What about increasing and standardising patient-centred care training for medical students and practicing clinicians? I know it was mentioned this morning about Sydney University that is introducing that. The people I've been seeing, not just where I am now, but I've started my cancer journey in Sydney as well. They're all my age or similar, within a 10-year age of me. They haven't had access to this training, and it's hit or miss whether they are, could you say, adequate communicators, skilled communicators. Palliative care is a good model to look at. They really put a lot of effort into patient-centered care and include a social worker. Like hearing all the stories this morning about social workers, out of 3 different oncologists, radiation, 4 or 5 different medical professionals in oncology, I have been told that there's a social worker who will come to our meetings, especially the first one. They didn't turn up. Halfway through the meeting, the doc got a phone call. Oh, sorry, no time. I'll come next time. Next time, as I walked out the door, they come rushing. Oh, sorry, I've been so busy. Look, give me a ring on the mobile. All right, give them a ring next week, answering machine. 2 weeks later, somebody rings me back. And recently, up where I was, we invited the social worker from the Cancer Institute to come and address our support group meeting. Very terrific people. Out of the 12 people at that support group meeting, no one even knew there was a social worker associated with the oncology ward. Now, that we've been dealing with the Institute for a couple of years, so all right. I'll let you, probably had a look at these. I'm just about out of time. I think it's really important. I feel it's important. From what I've been hearing today, it is important. The system isn't doing real well with it. It seems like we need a lot to get it to the next step. Somebody made a joke that, is it going to take 10 years? No. I can see it easily will. So look, thank you. And thanks to Marilyn too. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you. We've got time for just one question. Any questions for Philip? Okay, I know we're eating into lunch by about 10 minutes, so please thank Philip Wadick and his partner. Thank you.